Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to do another scrap fabric project. Now I've already made this little piece of fabric, and if you want to see how I did that, I've got two videos, and I'll put the information below, that look at how to use up little scraps of fabric and using machine sewing. So I've already cut this little piece out and tidied it up. So it's about 15 centimeters by 29.5 centimeters. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a little wallet like that. I don't know which one I'll put as the front yet. So I'm just going to make something like that, a very simple little project. So I'll just have it'll be stitched here and have a little flap inside there that you can store things in. But the actual piece itself is quite plain, so even though I've got lots of colours going on, I thought I'd add a bit of threads to it. So here is my little collection of threads that I've decided to use. I'm going with these nice light greens. I've got some pinks here, and I've got this variegated crochet cotton there. So I've already pre-threaded a few needles here, so we'll just start somewhere. I just want to add a little bit of texture, a bit more interest to this piece. Now on the back there, I have a very lightweight stabilizer, iron-on stabilizer, and it helps me to make the piece of fabric to begin with. I may need to actually add a little bit more stabilizer to this, but we'll just see how we go. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just showing you how I add some stitches, some embellishments to the top, to the front of this. Now in this particular one, I'm not going to add any lace, because I actually really like the fabrics, and I just want to do some straight stitches here and just add a little bit of texture and extra interest. Now as you can see, this fabric is quite thin, so it's quite easy to push the needle through, so this should go quite quickly. Sorry if you can hear the fan in the background. I'll try and edit it out if it's too loud. It's again a very warm day here. And it's only going to get hotter through the day. Now this combination of fabrics is very pretty. It's actually from a little scrap pack that I purchased at the op shop. And I also happened to on that day find this little piece, this little spool of very, very fine pink, and this larger variegated one. It's quite funny because a few weeks ago when I was making videos, I said, oh, I don't usually use pink, but everything seems to be pink. And the other thing I found today, which I'm going to use in another project, is this linen top, this lovely lilac coloured linen top. So that should be forming part of some upcoming project. Now again, I don't use a hoop for this kind of work, so when I'm sewing I have to be very careful that I don't pull the threads too tightly, or you end up with all the puckering. So you've got to continually press it out and make sure that it is remaining flat. Now sometimes if I have quite a large image, I might just sew around that image to emphasize it. But here I've got a large area which is quite plain, so I want to add a bit more interest to this. Now when I sewed this piece together, you can see I used a fairly small zigzag in this nice light green colour. I like light green, it's a colour I use in a lot of my projects. And I like this colour combination. It must have been a very beautiful quilt. This quilt, the colours of these fabrics go so well together. And it's very good quality fabric, so I was very happy to get it. I think the little package was about $2 or something like that. It wasn't very expensive. That's enough for me to actually make another piece of fabric. So it's fabulous. Okay, so let's keep going here. I already like the look of that. It's just filled in this plainer piece of fabric really well. Whoops, that's a bit too tight. And it gives a little bit of interest. Just wondering what I did with my little block of wax, because that really helps not to have those little threads. I can't see it at the moment. I've put it somewhere nice and safe and sound. If I find it, I'll bring it out. I did actually put some wax on these before when I threaded them. So it's a great tip that was given to me by one of the viewers, because it holds the fabric holds the thread together better. Plus it makes it slide through the fabric a lot easier. So it really is a great tip. And as I said, I don't really know where I've put that little item at the moment, but I'll find it in a minute when I need it. So that's the first little bit done. So I might spend about 10, maybe 15 minutes just doing a little bit of sewing, just adding a little bit of texture and character to this piece. Now you can see there it's a little bit tight, so it's actually pulling the fabric up, but if you give it a good stretch it should be fine. I pre-threaded a whole lot of threads because I'm very bad at threading. When I'm videoing, it takes me quite a long time to thread anything. Okay, so I'm just looking at what will pop if I do it. This will really pop there. That would be really nice there as well. So I might just put a little bit of stitching on this one. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are today. If you've got any ideas or suggestions when I'm making these, please leave a comment in the comments section. They're not difficult projects. I just want to make shorter little projects with little achievable things that can be made. I often, as I said, will be giving these things away as gifts, so I always have a little stash of things made, or sometimes I just donate them, as I've already mentioned in a previous video, to a local group that might, a charity group that might put them in a basket and raffle it off so that they make a little bit of money out of it. I simply enjoy making them, and I'd also like to know if you like longer videos or shorter videos, because I'm trying not to make the videos like, an hour long, because sometimes when I start doing this slow stitching, I'm not going to get through the whole project in one go. Like the other day, when I was making the needle case, off camera I basically did 2 hours of stitching, and I mean the stitching was basically all the same. It was all basically straight stitch, so I didn't actually show that in the video because it was 2 hours of me just sitting there stitching. But I don't know, do people like to watch that? I sometimes like to watch the progress as you're going through, rather than watching every particular stitch, but that's just me. So I'd like some feedback on that if you wouldn't mind. If you've got time to do that, that would be great and greatly appreciated. Now this pink is really quite nice. I've got a newfound love for the colour pink, it would seem. I do actually like the colour coordination is limey, lightish green colours with the pinks. Very, very pretty. I don't think I'll go through that green. Might just go back here. Now it is very lightweight, this fabric, even with a little bit of stabilizer on the back. I only used a light stabilizer because I never seem to be able to get the thicker one to actually fuse properly. And it's going to have a lining, this little pouch, and it's going to have some heat and bond to get those two areas to fuse together, so it will have a bit more thickness than it actually has now. I don't want to use any kind of wadding or anything in it because I'm not really going to quilt it, so I don't really want to do that. I'll just move everything back into screen. I hope I'm still in screen. This needle is particularly nice to use, very fine and very sharp. I think it may be one of my Japanese needles. I have a number of needles, and depending on how my hands are feeling on the day, it can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes, but it's okay. Alright. I need to do some cross hatching at some point just to kind of join these all together. But even just that little bit of stitching has added a bit of character and individuality to the piece. If you're wondering if this is how I'd normally hold my piece to do it, the answer is no. But I'm just trying to make sure that my hands are not in the way of the camera. Actually, it's very nice. The fabric's quite thin. It's very easy to sew, not having to force the needle through any section at the moment. So we're nearly finished this little pink piece of thread. Just going to tie that off at the back, and you can see here we've got a nice section there and a section here now. Oh goodness me, I'm having issues already today with this. Okay. I don't know what I'm fussing so much about it. No one's going to see the back anyway. But I do like to tie it off securely because I don't really want all the stitches to come apart quickly. Okay. A little thread here that I need to get rid of. Alright. Okay, I've got another tone of green. That might be the same green. So I'm wondering if I should use some of this pink. It's very, very thin, this pink. Oh, this variegated colour is really nice too. That's a lot thicker, so I'm going to have to try and get that through a needle. I might leave that for a moment and just use the ones that I've got threaded for now. That might be more evident up there in the polka dots, so let's go to the polka dot section. I was going to show you some other project today using up my scraps, but for some reason I couldn't film at my sewing machine. Everything just didn't work, so I've come back to the hand sewing today, and maybe in the next video I'll do a bit of machine pre-sewing using my darning foot. I'm also currently at the moment working on a children's quilt, but it was a project, it was a Quilt as a Go project, and I've never done that before, so I thought I'd try it out, and I really enjoyed making the blocks. I'll show you in another video, but I was having issues with the Quilt as Go method. I didn't really like how it was looking, but one of my friends at Quilting gave me a great idea. I got to the point that I kind of just got stuck, and I needed another point of view, another set of eyes to tell me what might be a good idea, and it was a brilliant idea. So that's what I like about my quilting group, that you get different ideas from different people and you can implement them, and that's always a good thing. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a bit of, I'm going in different directions here, trying to get a little bit of variation in the stitching. Now, I'm not really sure what kind of closure I'm going to have on this. I was thinking of just using one of those little plastic press studs, because I've got a whole box of those and I'd like to actually use them up. And it won't be that thick, so it should be okay to go through the thickness. So I've got a line of sewing there, so I just want to leave the line of sewing so it can be seen and go back this way. Now there's no real crazy colours here, but I do want to keep it fairly soft and pretty, because I do actually like the softness of this colour combination. Okay, I think we're nearly finished this little bit. Just making sure it's nice and flat. Might try and do a little bit of cross in the other direction. I like this little piece of pink fabric. I was busy today looking on the discount rack at the op shop, and I picked up that one little piece of lilac linen that I saw, so it was really cheap. And I had picked out another piece, but it was a dress. It was nice light blue, similar to this. It was really pretty, but the dress was in the wrong area, so it was about $25, and I thought, it was a bit worn. I wasn't that fussed on it. If it had been a bit cheaper, I would have probably purchased it, but not at $25. Now, I'm not being particularly careful with the stitches and using my thread. I mean, I should have started in this direction and gone across that way, but I should have started here and worked this way, but I didn't do that. So on the back, I'll show in a minute, it's probably going to be a major mess, but no, it's not too bad. You do save thread if you think about where you're actually stitching. Now we need to go over here, just do a couple. I have 2 or 3 boxes of this embroidery floss, and this year I'm aiming to do a lot more hand sewn projects. Excuse my voice, it's very hazy today and I'm not dealing very well with it. As I was saying, I have a couple of boxes of this floss and I want to use it up. So there'll probably be quite a few slow stitch projects, and I have quite a lot of little scraps that I need to work into projects as well. So a lot of the projects will be slow stitch projects, and when I can get my sewing machine set up going, I'll show you a few machine projects as well. Okay, one more stitch and then that's this thread used up. Alright. I have threads everywhere now. I'm only using 3 strands. I tend to only use 3 strands when I do this work. I just find it a little bit easier to pull through the fabrics, especially if I've got lots and lots of layers. Okay, so again, just checking. I mean, it's not highly visible, but it is visible. Go back to this pink colour. I'm also not looking to do completely even stitches, and I do like running stitches. I really enjoy the simplicity of running stitches. This needle is very sharp. This is a great needle. A few good quality tools makes crafting much easier. I like that pop of pink on the green, that's pretty. If I use some of the crochet thread, the thicker one, it'll give a bit more texture as well. That could be quite nice actually. Okay, let's go back in the other direction. I like the green, but I actually like this pink colour a little bit more. That's funny because until recently I haven't really used a lot of pink. But I was asked to do this quilt for one of my friend's granddaughters. And she's someone that really likes pink. And so it sort of started the ball rolling because I ended up with scraps, and then the scraps I wanted to do something with them. So I did the pink. Oh, bear with me people while I finally get that thread. So the scraps led me to make the pink scrap fabric, and then from that I made the heart. And then I still had leftovers, and I made the little sewing case, which I did all the slow stitching on, which is some other videos I've recently made. And then I found this little bundle at the op shop, and I thought, oh, they're a nice combination of colours. So I'm going down a little bit of a pink theme at the moment. Okay. I could use some seed stitch, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. So when I pull this through, if I actually hold the last thread there and I pull it, I don't get the tension through there, so it doesn't pucker up the fabric. So just hold it there and then pull it so that you get it through. I have a feeling that once I've started doing some stitching here that I'm going to actually have to do quite a bit. So I probably won't film all of that. I'll probably go off camera, do about another 20 minutes or 30 minutes of stitching and then come back and show you, and then I'll show you putting the lining in, etc. Because this is going to take quite a while to do, I would say. Okay. So that's the start of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go away off camera and do a lot of stitching, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to film some more and show you the process. Try and get this done under an hour. Now I went away and did another 40 minutes on this piece. So you can see there, hopefully that stayed in focus. There's quite a lot of stitching. I didn't do every actual box or every section, and I've just basically used a whole of straight stitches. So what I need to do now is I'm going to line this piece. So I've got a piece of calico, I've turned over the edges, and I'm going to apply it with some heat and bond, which is this product. So it has paper on one side and it has this sticky adhesive on the other side. So what you basically do is you iron it onto here, and once it's ironed on you peel it off the paper and then you place our bits. So I'll just do that very quickly. Okay, now that took a little longer than I thought it would, so there'll be a bit of cut in the video there. So what I've done is I've pressed that down there so it's firm. I've left the edges a little bit free so that I can do a bit of adjustment when I start actually stitching. So now I've got to decide which way I want it to go. So am I going to make it like that? It's actually got quite a nice feel to it now, and I can either have it like that or I can turn it around and have it like that. I might do it the other way because I've got these two bits of fabric here that are the same and I don't really like that idea. So I'll make that as the bottom, the flap inside. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to start doing some blanket stitch across the top here. Now I've chosen to use the thicker crochet thread and I'm going to run it through my little wax block here that I found. And if you haven't seen one of these before, it's just a little plastic container with a little circle of wax in it. And I've got it actually stuck together because with some sticky tape, because otherwise it falls apart all the time. But it helps the thread to actually run through the fabric a little bit easier. So when the little blocks finish, you can just buy more of these little blocks. So let's just start doing a bit of blanket stitch here. Now, my blanket stitch at the side will probably come into there, so I need to start a little bit in from the side and I need to adjust these corners so that they sit a lot better than they are sitting right there. So if I just hold that together, I'll be able to get that together. Now I'm not worried about this raw edge. That doesn't really matter at this stage. I just need to get this started so that you can see what the process is. So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start the first stitch. Now the variegated crocheting thread is quite a bit thicker, and I can fix that bit up later when I'm actually there. So now I just need to pay attention to what I'm doing and pull this nice and tight. Okay, I'll try and get myself into a position here so I can show you what I'm doing. Now again, I'm going to do this bit and I'll probably do quite a bit of the blanket stitch off camera because this is going to be an extremely long video. And once I show you the process, we only need to just finish it off. Now, you might be thinking, oh, the raw edge there is going to be, a bit of a problem. Well, it should be fine actually. I mean, again, it's a product, it's going to be used, you've made it, it's a handmade product, it's going to be used. And over time, things just do wear. So I'm doing quite a large blanket stitch here. I've got something. Okay. And that's pretty normal. I do quite different sizes blanket stitch. But here I want it to be a real feature of the little purse. I often use calico as lining. I really like calico fabric. I like that it's plain, don't have to worry about it too much. And on this side you can see, I'll line that down a little bit better later. That bit's come up. I'll give it another press when I've finished. So calicos, I really like calico. However, you have to be careful with the quality of it at times. It's not always the best, but I bought some recently that was very, very rough after I washed it. I could virtually not get the creases out of it, but I had to rewash it and they finally came out. So like anything, there's different grades of it and it wasn't particularly expensive, so maybe that was reflected in the price. So this variegated cotton in this very large stitch is good because you can really see it. I made that one a little bit small. We need to concentrate here. I'll fix those threads up in a minute. So this is giving this a very nice textured edge. Okay, so the next thing to think about is how big I want to have the flap here at the top. So I can probably have it about, that's roughly 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters. So that's quite a nice little flap because it gives you a bit to grip on. And what I will do is I'll put either 1 or 2 studs there, little press studs there later. So just so we don't lose that, I'm just trying to find a pencil. I'm just going to put a little pencil mark there and a little pencil mark there. Alright, so now I'm going on to the edge here. Just tidying up that little piece there. And I might have to go through this a couple of times here just to stabilize this edge. I'm going to go back through there because I didn't go far enough through. And that one didn't cover up the edge. Okay, try again. Oops. Okay, that's a bit better. I'm back, everyone. It took me approximately nearly 40 minutes to finish the blanket stitch around the edge here. So we're on the final stages now. It's looking pretty good. Just needs a little trimming. So what I'm going to do is I've decided I'm just going to use some of these little press stud, plasticky press stud things, and some of these, and actually close it up like that. So I've got a whole box here, and I went through the colours. Now that pink is too pink. Well, I think it's too pink. So I'm going to go for this sort of beige colour here. I'm not really sure. To me it's almost like an apricot colour, but I think that looks the best. So what I need to do is work out where I'm actually going to put these little studs. I think about there might be good. So about 3 centimeters in from the edge, and about 3 centimeters, no, maybe more than 3.5 centimeters down. So right there. So do the same here. We need to go 3 centimeters in from the edge, so about there. And what did I say? 3.5 centimeters down. Just move that box out of the way a little bit there. 3.5 centimeters down, so about there somewhere. Now this little kit comes with everything. It comes with the punch that you use. It comes with a whole lot of little bits and pieces, and it comes with this little thing called an awl. So the awl helps you to actually stab through to the fabric, and I'm going to go through there and mark where this needs to be on the other side. So I'm going to put a little dot there, and I'm going to do the same here. Put a little dot, just a little dot there. So I just sort of check that that's pretty even. So it's 3 centimeters down there, and 3 centimeters down there, and 3 from there, and 3 from there. Okay, so now I'm just going to make sure that I put this in correctly. So it comes with this little tool called an awl. Sorry, I bumped the camera. It comes with a little tool called an awl, which you can see puts a hole right through here. Now I've got to make sure I do this correctly. So you place the little stud through there. I always make sure I push it right through. And then you put a corresponding bit on the back. So you've got to work out whether you're going to have that at the top or that at the top. So I think I might go this piece at the top. So you place that over there. And I'm just checking that I do it correctly because I don't actually want to do it wrong. And then you take this little device, you push it over there, and you just press it down, and it flattens out the little nib in the middle there. So that one's on. So we'll do this one while we're up on this edge. Okay. Just making sure I've got that in the right place. So in through there. Does it look like it's in the right place? Oh yeah, probably is. Okay. Then we need this part. So you make sure you press that on well. And you get the little device here. You place that on. I always double check that I do this correctly because I've done it sometimes the wrong way around, and then you have to take it out and it's a real pain. Alright, so now we just got to place the bottom bit. So again, you just use the awl, place the little pointy cap bit on the inside, like so. Make sure it comes right through the fabric, and then you place this little cup bit on the top. A bit hard to see there on the fabric. Now in the instructions it actually says that you're supposed to nip that little bit there, but I often wonder if I'm going to have enough because it doesn't really protrude that much. So I'm just going to press it and hope for the best, because I don't actually think there's enough there for it to be nipped off. So it's squashed it down really well. So as you can see, when you put it together, it snaps and you get that little snap. So again, we'll finish off this one. Now I could have done another closure, I could have done a button closure, I could have done something quite different, but I just wanted to use these up. I don't make a lot of little purses like this, so just something a bit different. And push that right in there, make sure it's right in. Yeah, that looks fine. I think if you nip the top, it spreads the plastic out a little bit more. I need a better pair of scissors to do that. It's not particularly easy to do, as you can see. Oh, got a little bit off there. Okay, so again, just line it up, make sure the back is on properly. Give it a nice press. This is really easy to use, this little thing, this little machine. So what we've ended up with is a little purse there. I like the stitching around the edge again, and I like the fact that this variegated crochet thread gave you a bit of a different look there. These are quite tight, these little clips. A few uses and they should be fine. So that's the little project for today. I hope you enjoyed that journey, and I have clipped some of the video because it was a very long video again, and I mean, I know people are busy. I just wanted to show you the basics of how I did it. So this is going to be either a gift again for someone. You can use it in your purse, put a little bits and pieces in your purse, maybe your makeup or any other things you would like to keep contained in your purse. So if you liked the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave me a comment below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, everyone, and bye for now.